Thanks for putting together this call. Guys, this is an amazing opportunity we have to take advantage of the timing. It's so easy to go cold. It's so easy to go slow. It's so easy to sit back and wait when you shouldn't wait. We know in the industry, typically, we get the best out of our people in the first 30 days when they're hot, when they're active. We know that if we can lock them in between 30 and 90 days, we can keep them. But if you don't continually communicate, if you don't lock in, like a marriage, your front line, like a marriage, your leadership, that's what it's like. It's like a marriage that you're going into life with these people to produce the best results, to achieve the greatest results, the greatest goals on the planet. And it's a long-term relationship. It's not a quick fix. It's not a 30-day deal. This is a long-term deal where you can build trust. You want to be talking to your leaders every day. You want to be, it doesn't always have to be business, but the communication channels must always be open with your leaders and keep them engaged. It's too easy to sit back. I'm exposed. I'm the guy with the marker. Somebody told me when I started this business 22 years ago. He says, you want to be the guy with the marker. You want to be the guy on the flip chart because he's the guy that's making all the money. The guy with the marker is making the money. And I said, is that right? Is that how it works? Yeah. You've got to go to the front of the room and you got to explain the business to people. So I built that into myself 22 years ago and tried to learn how to teach using a flip chart and marker. And I think that came from the old Amway days where they used to do the circles and the boards, which was before my time. But I soon figured out that it's not necessary you to be the guy with a marker, because I think the guy that introduced the guy with the marker makes the money. So if you can introduce lots of people that can teach, lots of people that can train, lots of people that can communicate, lots of people that can get the message told into your organization, the guy that introduces the guy with the marker is the guy that's going to make the money. The other thing is technology's moved and we're now into video. Video and lives are very, very important. I think PowerPoint is exceptional as well. However, it doesn't have a personality. PowerPoint on its own is just a slide with some nice images. It doesn't talk to you. You have to talk the PowerPoint. And I think it's very important to have, if you're teaching to your group, have your camera on. Let them see the emotion. Let them see the power. I always do it with the camera on. So I think you need to do that because people will relate to it. If you're just doing a PowerPoint and it's just slide after slide after slide, people, I can tell you, when they're on the Zooms, do you know what they're doing? They're not even listening. They're distracted. They're flipping through Facebook. They're texting. They're missing half the information because they're not engaged. So putting your camera on in front of your audience and get comfortable with that. I think since COVID, people are more comfortable with going on camera. Everybody's shy. Everybody didn't want to be seen. But I think with TikTok and Facebook and Zoom, people are now seeing face-to-face. You've got to get yourself comfortable in front of an audience and start building into your team. Anyway, let's just go to the board for a second and excite our team again and remind us what this pace setter is, because you've got a few days now to put a few things into place. One thing you need to understand is the 10 different matrices. And some people are confused between generations and tiers, okay? Generations and tiers. But tiers goes across the way. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. Tiers go across the way. Generations go down the way. So don't confuse yourself. So we've got Tier 1 contributions. We've got Tier 2 contributions, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. And then just for the allowance of room, we'll do Tier 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So a tier is a contribution. I think of tier like a wedding cake. There are 3 tiers. So there are 10 tiers in the DAISY program, 8, 9, and 10. Some of you, and we just learned that 52,000 people have gone into the first matrix. That's just 52,000. I believe that the next number was 22,000 have gone into the second one. The third one was 12,000. I just took them down off Jeremy's slides. The next one is 7,000 gone into this one. 3,000 people have gone into the 5th matrix. And then we're down to, I think it was 1,791 have gone in here. We've got 838 gone in here. We've got 362 people in here, 133 in here. And guess what, guys? Just 78 people in the 10th tier. What does that mean for you? What that means is these guys is going to move into here. They're going to upgrade. There's 30,000 people going in here. You need your team, when this launches, to be populating all of these metrics as much as you possibly can. Now they're going to migrate into here. They're going to migrate, and this is where you can get potentially spillover. Never rely on it. Create it. Never rely on it. Never join the business because you think you're going to get spillover. You make that spillover for your team. You engage the team. And of course, it's so exciting, guys, when we look at these metrics, they're so, they're not even populated. There's only 78 people. So what I'm doing right now with my leaders, we've got Stephen in Manila, we've got lots of people that are now starting to get across the ways in tiers. That's the way, crossing tiers and then down in generations. Generations is the first level, is the first generation, the second generation. So don't use the word level. Generations down, tiers across. And you try and get yourself populated in these higher matrices. And you'll be so pleased as the whole world community starts coming into these different matrices. I think this is very exciting for those of you that can afford a tier 10 contribution, because there's only 78 people out of 50,000 people. And ultimately, over time, I believe everybody will upgrade. As you earn money in the third matrix, you can use those profits to upgrade. As you make money in the seventh matrix, you can use those profits to upgrade. And you can also use, I believe, Jeremy, can you use your rewards, your trading rewards from the trading account, can they be used to upgrade into the tiers? Is that possible, Jeremy?
Yeah, once they're withdrawn. So yeah, once you withdraw those rewards, then you have access to do whatever you want with them. Yes.
Okay, so you're taking them out to bring them back in. Okay, I didn't know. Could you internally could you use them for that?
No, it has to come through their wallet. So yeah.
Okay, so you have to withdraw the trading rewards and then reuse them to upgrade. So if I were you, I'd be doing what you can to maximize your contribution. That's the first thing. If you're stuck in these first 2 or 3, maximize your potential to upgrade. Get your positioning right before the rest of the world comes on board. And then the second thing is to qualify for Pacesetter. Well, a lot of people commented how I explain it rather than in PowerPoint. We know that we did $20 million or thereabouts in the first day of the business. The second day was probably 15 million. The third day was maybe another 15 million. And the fourth day, it slowed right up. There was a total of about 49 or 50 million came in contributions. But on the first day, 20 million came in. Now, I would guess something similar is going to happen this time around again. So we always say that, you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Well, you have the hindsight of the pre-launch. You have the hindsight of what happened a couple of months ago. So let's just look at that and see, can you do anything with your circumstances? Can you do anything with your team to take advantage of this? So we know that in the Gold Pacesetter, we've got 1.8% of the contributions going into this pool. And we know in the Leadership Pacesetter bonus, we also have an additional 1.8% going into this pool. 1.8% of 20 million. If you remember the numbers, is $360,000 going into each of these pools. Here's your choice today. Which of both, or are you going to do both of these? Are you going to go into this pool, or are you going into this pool? Some people will fail here and win here. Some people will do both. So when you calculate it, approximately 80 people qualified for this. Now today there's 122. But in the first day, there was about 80 people qualified. And when you divide 80 into 360, that paid these guys $4,500 in the first day. Think about it. What happened the second day? 15 million came in, so they got a little bit less the next day. What happened the third day? About another 10 or 15 million. So they got a little bit less than this. But in 3 or 4 days, they made about $10,000 in 3 or 4 days, which is half a year's salary. In 3 or 4 days for qualifying for this. The guys that got in here, and I believe there was only 6 or 8 of them did, I think it was 6 into 36 was $60,000. So these guys made $60,000 from the Leadership Pacesetter, which is amazing. What happened day 2? They got a little bit less. What happened in day 3? And that's why it's not unreasonable to hear these figures where people are making 100,000, 200,000, 400,000 in a few days. But guys, it wasn't a few days. They pre-built into this first launch. It took them about 3 weeks. to pre-build this. You had these 2 months to congregate, to amass, to accumulate these qualifications to get in here. So when we look at the qualifications, it's very simple. It's 24 people with $128,000 of contribution. That's all it takes to get in there. 24 people. Guys, if you had a birthday party this weekend, you would have 24 people, COVID permitting, at your birthday party. 24 is not a big number, okay? The second thing is $128,000. Well, guys, we know that 78 people, because they're in the 10th tier, 78 people already did this, you know? So it's accumulation of 24 into 128 to qualify for this. You should have that ready to go. When Jeremy presses the button, you should be ready to put in your 24, have your tiers and contributions ready, and make sure you qualify for that. Guys, how do you get into this pool here? Simply show 3 people how to do that. Teach 3 people to do that, and you get into this. It's absolutely amazing. If you do it a second time, you can do this multiple times. You can have multiple shares. Jeremy qualified for this twice. He has 6 people. 6, I'm holding this, 6 people, Jeremy, frontline, that did this. So he gets 2 slices of this. And you can have as many slices if you want, if you're prepared to roll up your sleeves and go to work. I'm doing presentations. I'm only doing them 3 days a week. When we first did it, I was doing 4 to 7 presentations a day. I'm down to 3 a week, so I'm a little bit guilty of relaxing because I was just waiting on this date. But we're very, very excited, guys. We're on the countdown to our second launch. So I hope you found that beneficial. If you haven't seen those numbers before, easy to qualify, easy to do if you tell yourself it's easy. If you tell yourself it's difficult, then it is difficult. I think it's easy to do, and I believe you can do it. Hope that helped.